all the good stuff. I'm No.L, No.L. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Leon, Leon _ in reverse. That's my daddy's name, which is my name in reverse. Okay, and PRIMA, that's my EP, is coming out 11/11. We have a single available right now, La Da, available on all platforms. I want you guys to want to hear it as much as I want you to hear it. So a few things. I've been recording for a long time, but normally after I record something and I get home and I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, I like this, but I would prefer to sell this. Like, I don't want to attach this to my brand or who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Then I eventually got to a place where I collected a few pieces that I was like, oh, okay, I want to use this. And this is the first time that I felt like that. So first, leading, that means PRIMA. PRIMA means leading in first. PRIMA also means cousin in Spanish. And this project and everything that I do through music would not be possible if it wasn't for my cousin. So it's like, it has a double meaning for me. So it's the first and leading. Then there's the fact that there's my cousin. And then I danced before, so there's like prima ballerina, prima donna, all these things are in my head. They used to call me a prima donna when I was younger, but that wasn't true. They were all wrong. I wasn't like that. They were all wrong. But the process is kind of different every time. Like sometimes I could like play a song, like find a beat, or somebody will send me a beat and I could just write. Sometimes, like, because I also write poetry that is not music, even though poetry and music is the same thing. So I could have like a book of poetry and somebody will send me something. I'll be like, oh, I think I could put this here. And then I don't know if you've seen like the 5 heartbeats that like when they go through the trash can, they're like, oh, I'm put this piece with this piece. Now, but most of my songs are like a piece of a poem and then like a piece of a freestyle and then like a piece of a, like, just till I can find something that meshes together and like creates a whole song. Or like some people, when they get writer's block, I use those pieces to help me through my writer's block. So like the first people to come to mind would be the people that I will also artistically want to be on their Pandora station, because I feel like it's easier to write in the lane that I am. However, I could definitely like write for the radio, and I'll just say that. Even though I don't necessarily think what I write is the radio, I definitely think I could write that too. So this is so funny. So originally, there was no concrete story that I was on a mission to tell, right? But then like over the course of collecting the pieces, when it was time to order the tracks, it like was easy to order them because it was like, oh, well, these are like all these different pieces of my life. I really realized that I used as many pieces as I did until I put them in a line and they all like make sense. So I'm at a place now where like when I meet new people, friends, people who are intimately interested in me, one of my first questions is, who is your God? Like, what do you believe in? Like, how do you navigate through your life, you know, with your belief? So that's where we start in the beginning of the EP. So there's a Friday night thing, then we move through like a vibe, like a mood, and then it gets a little more serious, a little heavier, like, okay, well, this could be very light and fluffy and lovey-dovey, but there's also like a dark and twisty side to this. So if this is the vibe you want, are you really going to be able to handle both sides of it? Then it kind of gets into like a black love thing where I kind of learn about black magic and potions and like black love. And then shortly after that, it kind of spins into like oh, well, sometimes even when you meet like a pro-black energy or an energy that may come across as that, sometimes it's still not that. So there's a song about that too. Then I kind of move through that and then just focus on us being my people and how we different and how we sun-kissed and moon-charged and all that good stuff. And then it kind of just moves to the single that I dropped first, La Da, which is like speaking more about like the face of God and like the things that I love about melanated people. So it's like it turned into a story, but it wasn't supposed to be one. I wasn't intentionally trying to tell a story. I really like what happened at the end of it. I feel like it's a good first impression to let you know what it is that I want to talk about, because I talk about the face of God. The song is pretty poetic. You kind of got to listen to it to know what I'm talking about. I kind of dissect the pieces of the face and then let you know that God looks like us. So I feel like that was where I wanted to start. Like real quick, before we get into all of this love and sex and magic, real quick, before we get into that, I want y'all to know like we're God. Like, and that's big for me. So I wanted that to be one of my first impressions that I gave to people. And then I got this visual on the way and I wanted them have the song before they had the video. I like emptiness. So I like very, very empty songs or very, very busy songs. So it's kind of hard to like navigate the space between. Mm-hmm. It's easy to know when I'm done writing, but it's hard to know when to stop adding stuff to a song. Mm-hmm. But I was listening to her talk about was it her? Lion, SZA. I was listening to SZA talk about like when she's in the studio, and she is one of those people like me that I'm like, okay, well if I keep coming to the studio and I still haven't released it yet, like okay, well let's listen to that one more time. Y'all think I need anything else? All right, take this part out. You know what? Let me go back in here. I'm gonna just change this part real quick, and I'm gonna just add this part. So it's kind of hard to know. And without deadlines, I probably will still be doing a lot of stuff to a lot of these songs. Just because when you have the time, it's almost like it becomes a whole new song. I think like, especially like from the beginning process of like if I sit in front of a computer and I make like a freestyle, that version of the song is so different than what happens at the studio by the time I'm finished touching it a million times. You know what I'm saying? So I could easily go back in and take stuff out until it gets back to that beginning place, or just keep adding stuff because I like it super simple or like hella hectic. So to answer your question, I don't ever know. The song I added last was Why You.
What track is that?
I don't know. What is that like? Because I had to, my track list was finished. My EP cover was finished. My art guy had already sent me my stuff back, and I was like, listen, please. Okay, so I really want this on there. I want to put it between this song and this song. I don't remember what number it is. I think it's like Vibe 5. Yeah, it's like Vibe. Humble and Hungry. Shout out to Vizo. The oldest song on there is the song that I have with him. Like, we might have wrote that in like 2015, 2016. The song's like 5 years old. Something else on there is pretty old too. Let me see. Yeah, so Hug Me Baby, the beat that I'm using is new, but I wrote that maybe like a year after Friday Night. That one's also pretty old. But like Why You is a freestyle, Vibe is a freestyle. These just kind of came into fruition. Like they just kind of like melted the album together, in my opinion, or EP, whatever. But What You Believe In is fairly new. Like it was written this year. The Mother is a poem that's written in my book that I just turned into a song. But the name of the book is Process of Progress. It'll probably be like an ongoing thing. I'm sure like as I continue to release music, I'll continue to release poetry as well, because they go hand in hand. And it's so easy. And I have like the thickest book like of information that I would just be willing to share, like art that I would just be willing to share. And poetry is just so different. And then it's like you can use it to so many different things and make it tell so many different stories. But yeah. Black, being black, black love, black magic. Love and peace in general. Black love, magic. Oh, sex. Love that. We talk about that a lot. I try my best to be as tasteful as possible, you know, but we're going to talk about that. So for the most part, like if I had to like sum it up, like love, sex, and magic.
Okay.
Black though, like black love, black sex, black magic. Take that. Take that for the people.
Question.
Don't look for a lane. Because I feel like that's what took me so long. Like feeling like I was looking for a lane. Like, okay, I really, really like Beyonce, not my lane. I really, really like Sierra and Carrie Hilson, not my lane. I really, really, so it took low-key, Ari, not even low-key, high-key. Ari came out, people from the choir from my high school calling my phone. My Papa J, that's what we call him, he was choir director. He called me, he was like, listen, she's on the radio, because you could have been. Okay, we're not tripping, nobody's mad. I'm not saying she stole your spot or nothing like that, but you've been out here looking for a lane and she just created one for you. Like Summer, her, like all this just happened. Like this just happened within the last few years. I've been writing like this. I've been doing this, but I just was scared because I didn't really have a lane. And because I was trying to not necessarily mimic, fit in. Like, okay, well they're not gonna play me on the radio, but I'm not Erica enough to have like a neo soul only crowd, you know? So I think the advice I would have given myself, and I probably would have been able to release a lot sooner. I've been in the studio since I was like 12. Is to not look for a lane. Just do you. It sounds like the most simple advice. Is to just do you. Because it's so hard when everybody else is looking at you and you got to get everybody's opinions and everybody's constructive and not constructive criticism, you know. And sometimes people don't even know that they're trying to put you in a box. Like, people can come to me and be like, oh, I really love what you're doing. Like, I really, really love what you're doing. But I just want you to do something different with your hair. Or, like, I really, really love what you're doing, but, like, I just want you to let me dress you. Like, let me dress you up like you my Barbie. Or, like, let me, you know, I just want to do your makeup. Or and it's not that these things not cool, because they're cool for the people that they cool for. But I can't spend my time trying to make myself more suitable for a lane that could be here today and gone tomorrow, when I could just be myself authentically the entire time and be okay. So that's what I got.